Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 125 of my gaming show, where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're old video games that I grew up with, new video games that I'm playing today. It doesn't matter. Video games. And since we are in the new year of 2025, I figured we'll try and do like a New Year's resolution type thing, and I'm going to talk about going back to the backlog, and we're going to talk about the backlog games that I hope to take down in 2025. So I don't know if I could take down all these games, but these are games that I'm optimistic that I think I might be able to get to this time around. And as always, that backlog, it gets bigger every single day. I swear another pile of games gets added to it every day. But these are the ones that I feel pretty good about that I might be able to get to this year. I do have my own little personal resolution to try and play more Nintendo Switch games this year. Kind of have a pile of, I have a backlog of Nintendo Switch games that I got to get to. So I want to try and put a little more focus on Nintendo this year, since it is more than likely the final year of the Nintendo Switch, and we'll have the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out hopefully this year at some point. Probably it might be later, but we'll see. But regardless, I want to give some love to the Switch this year, and we'll be doing that. But before we talk about my backlog games, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last... It's been a while since I've recorded here, so we got a lot of catching up to do right now. So let's start with TV shows. Let's start out with Squid Game, y'all. Who watched Squid Game Season 2? Holy crap. I didn't even know this was coming out. The second season, I've been hearing all about the Mr. Beast thing or whatever the heck. There's like a Squid Game reality TV show as well. I'm actually very curious about that one. But Squid Game Season 2 came out, and we crushed that sumbitch. It was awesome. It was friggin' awesome. I am stunned at how good Season 2 of Squid Game was, man. I went in with pretty much zero expectations, and they crushed it, man. They absolutely crushed it. They didn't just cash in on what was a super successful Season 1. It kind of looked like they were just going to copy and paste some shit, but the way that they did it was excellent. Absolutely excellent. Very enjoyable show, Squid Game. If you haven't checked out Squid Game yet, oh my goodness, bro. It is a really cool show, really awesome concept. Basically, you got these 400 or so people, and they get brought into this facility, secret facility, and they're going to play a game. They're going to play a series of games, and just very strange games, not your normal games. It's kind of schoolyard games. And the winner gets 4.2 billion yen or whatever the heck. It's a whole shitload of money. And they bring in all these people that have debts. They pick these people out specifically. And yeah, dude, they battle it out, and it gets crazy. It gets absolutely crazy. I'll just let y'all watch it if you haven't, but holy crap, what an awesome freaking show. 8.5 out of 10 for Squid Game Season 2. I was blown away at how freaking good it was. Next up, we got Secret Level. This is on Prime. This got brought to my attention by a guy at work. Again, no idea that this show existed until he told me about it, but he's like, oh, you remember Love, Death, and Robots? It's like this series of shorts, very strange, all these little shorts, and they decided, hey, we're going to do the little shorts, but video games. So you got these little, rather 10 to 15 to 20-minute episodes based on video games. You got Warhammer, you got, I watched the Pac-Man one. The Pac-Man one was excellent. Freaking love that. They had seafood. Yeah, dude, it is very cool. Now, they're pretty short, so you're not gonna get super duper into each episode. Each one seems like a concept episode that they could just you can make a series out of every one of these episodes, every one of these concepts, every one of these video games. The Pac-Man one especially was very cool. Did not see that one coming. I thought, oh, it's Pac-Man. This could be a fun, colorful episode, and it was so dark. It was so fucked up, but very, very cool show right there. Secret Level. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on I don't know, like the 7th episode or something, but the Pac-Man one for sure has stuck with me. I was like, whoa, that was very interesting. But if you like video games, check this one out. It's on Amazon Prime, and yeah, dude, it was very, very cool. Secret Level, check that one out. We finished off Survivor Season 47. That was a good time. The winner, very happy with the winner, and yeah, a very successful season of Survivor. Really liked it. If I'd hit it with a score, I'd probably do like an 8 out of 10 overall on the season. Lots of swerving going on. Lots of interesting characters. I think his name was Andy, the long hair guy. That was very well done, sir. Very well done. I did not expect you to go as far as you did, but you did, and that was fun. So another season of Survivor down. And oh man, now we're at the depressing part where we gotta wait for more Survivors. So yeah, it's gonna be a while, but that was a fun season right there. And then I got back into a show that I watched a long time ago, and I never actually finished the final season of it because I heard it wasn't the best and it pissed people off, and I loved the show so much I didn't want to taint it, so I avoided watching the final season of Dexter. So my wife had started rewatching Dexter, and I told her about this situation. I was like, yeah, I didn't finish it. She was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, yo, once you get to like season 7, I'll hop on and I'll finish off season 8 and I'll actually complete Dexter. So that's what, and plus on top of that, they got all, like, there's that 2 new Dexter things. They got like the Original Sin, which is like the prequel show. There's a sequel season as well, so I want to watch those. But jumping back in to mid-season 7 of Dexter, and it was awesome. Holy fuck, man. I was like, oh, Dexter. It was so fun coming back to Dexter. I loved Dexter so much. And yeah, jumping back into season 7, I had my wife explain a couple things to me. I was like, oh, boom, the fucking lights came back on. I was like, oh my God, all my Dexter memories. I was like, oh, remember when this happened? She's like, yeah, that. And yeah, dude. Oh, baby. If you haven't checked out Dexter, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my goodness. I think it's on Paramount now. That's where I'm watching it, but damn, dude, I watched this so long ago. I couldn't even track, like, the time frame of my life where I was watching. I'm like, was I still living at home when I watched Dexter, or was I living at this place? Like, what point in my life did I watch Dexter? But that was a great time in my life, man. Dexter was awesome. Also, one of the best intros to a show ever. Homie's just making breakfast, and, like, I love that intro to Dexter. I watch it all the time. Anyway, still watching, so we're into season 8 now. Almost done season 8, finished off season 7. It was awesome. I don't remember season 7, apparently. I was like, I don't remember that shit going down. But regardless, loving Dexter. So I'm there, and I'm going to start, once we finish season 8, we'll go to the sequel season, and then we'll go for the prequel. But the reviews look really good for this prequel show, which I wasn't really expecting, but hey, that's cool. So if anyone's watched it, let me know if it's worth checking out. I think I'm just going to watch it anyway. That's what my wife would like to do, so that's what we're going to do. Let's talk movies. We got some movies to talk about, a variety of movies right here. So I find this one was a backlog movie for sure for me. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, man, I'm going to watch this at some point, and that movie is Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, because holy crap, it's been Sonic Fest, I swear. Everywhere. It's Sonic this, Sonic that. You got Sonic 3 coming out. Amazing reviews. You got Knuckles, the TV show, looking really fun. And yeah, dude, I'm still like, I haven't even seen the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie yet. So I did. And it was so good. Oh my goodness, man. Like, wow. I'm not a big Sonic guy. In terms of the video games, I did watch Sonic X growing up on Fox. I love that cartoon. But, yeah, dude, this movie was really good. Now, I will say that if it didn't have Jim Carrey in it, it probably would just be like It'd probably be just like a movie that exists. But Jim Carrey's addition to this just, oh yeah, baby. That's the piece that makes this movie very good. Very enjoyable. Jim Carrey as Robotnik, man, just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Just a very mean man. Oh man, I loved it. And of course you get his mannerisms. One of the best laughs I've had in a hot minute. Jim Carrey, he finds like Sonic's freaking hair. He finds one of his little needles or whatever on the ground, And he decides to put it in his mouth, like to taste it, and he gets shocked and like, oh my god, man, that was just way too funny for me. But overall, I thought, like, yeah, the Sonic character, pretty solid. I think that, yeah, dude, it was a good movie. I just had a good time with it. I'm very much so, yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to watch Sonic 2. I'm going to maybe eventually watch Knuckles and all that stuff. I'm hoping another small resolution for this year is to try and get into a Sonic game this year as well. And I'm hoping these movies and the show that'll help me get into one. And I do have a Sonic game on this list. So there we go. That's another resolution I'm hoping to knock out. Knocked out one of them, or at least one movie backlog with the Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, dude, it was really good. Good enough that I'm rather excited to check out the next one. And yeah, man, good for Sonic. This was a good-ass movie. I think this one's also on Paramount. I don't know. I feel like the Sonic movies are kind of all over the place, but I watched it on Paramount, and it was really good. 7.5 out of 10 for Sonic the Hedgehog. And then this one caught my attention. I don't really know why I watched it, but I watched Juror number 2. Now, this one, I think it was on Netflix. I should really be writing down where these are streaming, but Juror number 2, it just popped up. I saw it there. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Saw the reviews for it were out of control, and mostly it was the audience score that caught me. I was like, oh, so it's got like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes with the fans. I'm like, all right, there's got to be something cool about it. Checked out a trailer, and I was like, all right, simple concept. Some homie gets called in for juror duty, and turns out he's more involved with this case than he thought he was. So it's all about this big moral dilemma. Like, what do I do? Do I do the right thing, or do I do what needs to be done to protect myself and my family? That's essentially the theme of the movie. Sadly, I watched the trailer and it gave everything away. I knew exactly what we were going to do with this movie, and it did exactly that. No twists. I thought, like, I was so fucking just, what do you convinced that there was going to be a huge twist. There was going to be something crazy that happens. Something wild has to happen, because I was like, it can't just be this, and it's getting this kind of positive reviews and stuff like that. I was like, okay, something crazy's happening. Nothing really crazy happened. Yes, the ending, there is like a very big kind of, whoa, yeah, like kind of a cliffhanger ending where it leaves it up to the audience to think, you know, I personally like those endings, because I always write the dark ending where it's like, oh, fuck, everything bad happened. Like, so the ending was really cool. The movie itself was just like, it went exactly how I thought it was going to go, and no twists, no special moment, no flair, no pizzazz. Like, it was just a fucking court movie, man. And that was my big initial red flag with it for me. I was like, it just looks like a court movie, dude. And I knew it was just, but it was fine. It was like good. It just, I don't know. I don't see where like the 90s and this just like universal praise is coming from. It's just like a good ass court movie with like a solid, like a story that was pretty simple, and the acting was good. Sure, yep, I like the acting. J.K. Simmons was in it, and I love him. But yeah, it was good. And it was like a 7 out of 10. Like, I'm not gonna fucking go crazy about it like the world is apparently. But Juror number 2, yeah, it was good. I like the ending. The ending was really cool. Yeah, 7 out of 10. And we got one final movie. I checked this one out last night. Actually had some hype for this movie going into it, and that is Transformers 1. I had some hype for this one because just animation movies for me recently have been out of control. The Spider-Man movies are some of the best I've ever seen. TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, was a huge surprise hit for me last year. I really enjoyed that one. So I'm like, all right, let's do Transformers. Again, not a big Transformers guy. I actually never watched any of the shows, didn't watch the Michael Bay movies. I didn't play with the toys. So my connection to Transformers is not very tight. And this one's like the origin story. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess let's do that. That should be fun. And overall, all right, I didn't like this movie. This movie annoyed me because the story was just so bleh. It's just oh, if we only had friendship, everybody, everything would be okay. And it's about the story of Optimus Prime and Megatron or whatever. They initially, it's their origin stories, basically, like how they became separated, like why they hate each other in current Transformer times, I guess. So it's their origin story, like why everything happened. And it's just very, like, a routine. It's the most obvious, like, betrayal by a guy you thought was amazing, and everyone thinks he's amazing, but he's actually a piece of shit, and that's what sparks this guy's rage, and now he's just so angry. All he thinks about is anger and revenge, and the other guy's like, no, you need friendship. Oh, friendship. I don't know if he was actually pushing friendship like that the whole time. That was my own internal inside joke that I was running throughout the whole entire movie, which on like 3 or 4 occasions made me burst out laughing so hard. There was one scene, they're just in it, bro. They're fucking battling, and they're just in a war, and I'm just like, don't forget to use your friendship, everybody. It's just like, that's just kind of what it pushing, like, it's just so, it's for kids, it's for kids. So, that messaging was just so like, oh my God, like, it's just hammering me over the head with this, like, oh, just don't be angry. Oh, don't hold on to your anger. Friends, everything will be okay if we have friends, and friendship, friends. So other than that, the movie is beautiful, beautifully animated. Oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. There are some seriously funny-ass moments in this movie, like, oh my goodness. Like, one scene, they fucking fall off a cliff, and, like, it just pans out, and it's super... Anyway, they have some great comedic moments in the movie. I will give them that. The action's cool. It's just the story was so fucking... just annoying, honestly. It was just so annoying. Like, I literally just went, ugh, like, at least 4 or 5 times, because it's just like, Megatron is just like, oh, it doesn't matter. It was enjoyable. Just the story was just so fucking unoriginal, basically. I don't know. I didn't like the story at all, but it was funny. It was beautifully animated. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed watching it. I just couldn't give a shit about the story. So, I don't know. I'd hit it with like a 6.5. It was fine. It was okay. I'm a little bit disappointed. I will admit, but it is what it is. I still think it's worth watching. Just don't go in expecting like a original story or anything like that. So it's very plain in terms of story, but it's fun. They gave you a fun ride. So there you go. That's all the movies and TV shows. Holy crap! Can we talk about some video games yet? Sure, let's talk about some video games. All right. So I'm kicking off my year, and we're starting off with 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim or some shit. I don't know. Very strange name for a game, but it is. This would have been on the list for, the backlog games that I want to take down this year. It's been up there for a while. I've owned it for a while. And that's also the theme of this particular list, is all games that I own. I have another list of all backlog games that I don't own. So one day we'll do that. But these are all games that I currently have in my library. Some of them are downloaded, like ready to play right now. I just got to get to them. So that's kind of the theme. But 13 Sentinels is a game that has been on my backlog for a long time, recommended to me years ago, and yeah, I'm finally getting to it, and it's awesome. Oh, man, Atlas just never lets me down with their games, man. Oh, my goodness. It's a very strange concept, more than likely going to get a whole episode, because this game is just so different. Very weird game. Basically, you're following 13 different characters, and you're just picking their story, and you're going through little pieces of it, kind of uncovering stuff, going around, and there's just, robots, futuristic battles, and crazy storyline going on, just so many wild things. So this game's insane. I feel like it's a pretty under-the-radar game, so yeah, it's going to get some attention for sure. I have been crushing this game over the holidays, man, just slaughtering it. I feel I'm getting close to the end. I'm at like the 70% range or something like that. So yeah, dude, this game is very, very cool, and hoping to discuss it in more detail in an episode in the future. But playing a lot of 13 Sentinels right now, very much so enjoying that. I started and completed Alan Wake. So I bought Alan Wake 2 for Boxing Day. It was on sale, so I was like, well, shit. Alan Wake, another game. It would have been on my backlog list. I've been meaning to play it ever since it came out on the 360. And I had interest on it back then. The only thing that kept me away from it was I'm a chicken shit. And I was like, oh, it's scary. I don't want to play a scary game. But I've grown a small set of nuts in terms of horror games, so I played it. And I beat it, and I really liked it. I am surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Might be because of how many people have just said, like, it's okay, and, like, my expectations were not low, but I came in, and I was just like, all right, it's got some flaws, it's not perfect, but let's give it a chance. And I had a blast with it, man. I thought it was really fun. It is simple, like, the combat is whatever, it's a little bit repetitive, it's just kind of the same thing over and over again, but it was a fun story. I like the concept of, like, you know, you're this writer and the story is getting written and you're not really in control of the story that's being written and it's coming to life and, like, holy shit, your wife is gone and you got to find her. So it was a fun game to go through. I'm hoping, I don't know, I kind of want to do like a double episode like Alan Wake 1 and 2. We'll see. I don't know. I'm playing through Alan Wake 1. There's not like a lot there to talk about. But maybe if I do Alan Wake 2, we'll combine, and we'll see what happens with that. But regardless, I enjoyed Alan Wake. I'm happy I got to play it. It was cool. I might even say that I enjoyed it more than Control, because Alan Wake didn't piss me off whatsoever playing it. Control, on the other hand, oh my god, that game pissed me off when I played it. But really cool, and I'm very excited now to get into Alan Wake 2. So, considering how much better the reviews were for that game, the reception of that game, and how much I like the first one, I'm very excited to get into the second one, and that should be happening fairly soon. I still want to go back. There's like 2 extra episodes to finish in Alan Wake. They're like I'm guessing DLC episodes, so I want to do those as well, because why the fuck not? So we'll do those, and yeah, that was, Alan Wake was fun. I enjoyed it. And what else am I playing? Pac-Man Championship Edition 2. Just throwing that in there whenever I have a couple of minutes. It's Pac-Man Championship Edition. If you haven't played Pac-Man Championship, bro, it is a lot of fun. I got super into Championship Edition 1 back in the day. And yeah, it's just a very fun new way to play Pac-Man. And if you play Pac-Man, it's Pac-Man. So yeah, there's not much to say about it, but I like playing it on the side. And that's all the stuff that I've been up to over the last whatever amount of time. Thank you for listening to all that. That's the episode. I'm just kidding. It feels like I just did a whole episode. That was a lot. But let me know what y'all have been up to. What'd you get for Boxing Day? What are you diving into in the new year? What are the games you have to get into right away? Which ones you couldn't wait to get into? Let me know what games you got and all that great stuff, what movies you've been watching. And let's get into it, baby. Let's revisit the backlog, and let's talk about the games I hope to defeat and take down in 2025. All right, 2025, let's see what you got, and here are the games that I would like to try my best to take down this year. Let's just dive into it, y'all, and feel free. Tell me, what are the big games that you plan on taking down this year? Let me know what games you want to take down, and let's just kick off this list with Super Hot. This is in no particular order, it's just a list, no real rankings or anything, it's just a list. So, Super Hot off the bat. That was the opening song for this episode, Ridiculous. And yeah, dude, Super Hot always had my attention. The only problem is, the way I want to play it, I don't really have access to that. I would love to play this in VR. The concept of this game just looks so cool, and to do that in VR, that would just, looks like the greatest, de-stressor. Like, rough day at work, fucking boss is pissing you off, and you just want to come home and just slow-mo beat the shit out of everybody. And yeah, man, I've seen some of the videos of what people can do in that game. It looks amazing. What holds me off from it is I gotta play it on console, and I don't know if that's Doesn't seem like the best way to play it, but I still am very interested in Superhot. Owned it forever, and yeah, it's just basically, I really would like to play it in VR. I do have a friend with a VR headset. I wonder if she has Superhot. That would be cool, but yeah, man, Superhot, it's been on my list forever, and it just seems like the further I get away, and the further I get away from the day that it came out, the closer I'm getting to potentially someday owning a VR headset. I was not very curious, but, seeing how much the PlayStation VR 2 dropped in price already, so it was like half off or something. I was like, damn, that'd be a decent time to get into it, but it's the PSVR 2, and there's not a lot going on over there. But regardless, Superhot. Would really like to check out that game some point this year. Up next, we got a Switch game, and this one is up next for me. I'm already planning to play it next. And that game is Metroid Prime, the remastered version of it or whatever on Switch. I got a craving for first-person shooting, and hey, Metroid first-person, let's do it. I've never beaten any of the Metroid Prime games. I own all of them. I own the GameCube versions of Metroid Prime 1 and 2. I have Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii, and I never finished any of them. I don't know why. I can't remember what was going on with the Wii version. Rather, I got lost or I lost interest. I don't remember, but yeah, dude, the first Metroid Prime, obviously, and the way that people talk about the remastered are like, oh, this game still holds up amazingly today, so on and so forth. And I want to get hyped up for Metroid Prime 4, and hopefully they're going to do more of them. I want Metroid Prime 2 remastered, and it'll be really interesting if they can do 3, because there was a Wii game that had a lot of motion controls going on into it. That's actually, I still think about the motion controls in Metroid Prime 3. Particularly, there's like a particular switch you would have to do where you got to pull it out, twist it, and then shove it back in. Very satisfying. So satisfying. And so Metroid Prime, I want to get into that. I want to get into those games, and yeah, that's as simple as that gets. I got to play some Metroid Prime, and potentially there's a good versus potential for that as well, to see what version of Metroid I prefer. I played Dread 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Maybe not, there were some things about that game that pissed me off, but regardless, I enjoyed the game, and I would like to see which version of Metroid is better. Is the 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania better, or is the first-person Metroidvania style better? So that could be a fun versus potential right there, so I want to do Metroid Prime next. Next up, we got a strategy game. Every time I think about replaying XCOM or playing Civilization again, I always think about Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics. So I've heard great things about this game. I played Halo Wars. That's another game I got on the list. Halo Wars 2. I haven't gotten to that one. Considering how much I enjoyed Halo Wars, yeah, I want to get to the Gears Tactics. I'd like to get to Halo Wars 2. These are my kind of games. I love tactics games. Friggin' love them. And I love Gears of War. I'm craving Gears of War. I literally, yesterday, my wife and I were talking about it. I was like, man, I could go for another Gears of War. And she was like, yeah, of course. But it's just not coming right now. So we don't have a new Gears of War. Maybe tactics could scratch the itch. I've heard good things about it, man. It's just, I'm looking at it looks like a longer game, but regardless, I gotta get into Gears of War Tactics. The reviews were good for it. It's just, yeah, it's not Gears of War, and the reviews are gonna reflect that. It's like, oh, it's not a Gears of War game. Like, oh, this is cool, but it's a tactics game. So I'm excited to check it out. I am very curious to see, what mechanics, what Gears of War flavor they're gonna bring to the tactics game. So yeah, I want to get to tactics at some point, and I'm fighting so hard not to play XCOM 2 again. Really want to play it again, but every time I think about it, I'm like, man, you got other tactics games you got to try out before you replay one. But yeah, Gears of War Tactics, want to get onto that one. Up next, we got a game that is universally called one of the more underrated games of the generation, and that game is Mad Max. I actually wanted to play this one last year when I watched Mad Max Furiosa, or whatever the hell movie that was. I didn't actually end up enjoying the movie as much as I wanted to, and it didn't kind of spark me into playing the game, which is unfortunate, but I still want to play Mad Max. I hear about it all the time. Just a few weeks ago, I swear, a homie at work in the aisles was just like, yo, dude, Mad Max, fucking awesome game. I'm like, oh, I know, I hear great things about it. I will play it. I own it. I want to get into it. It's just, I got to be in the mood for like a open worldy, post-apocalyptic, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I got to be in the mood for that kind of game, and I don't know, it does look really fun. The vehicle combat and everything, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of convincing. Again, this is why it's on the list, because I feel like I could probably get to that one this year, and that would be good. So I want to get that. I want to confirm. Like, there's been a few games that have been on the like Titanfall 2, for example. That's just on everybody's underrated list, and I was like, all right, okay. At some point, it feels like people are just putting it on there, and they haven't even played it. They just like, oh, it's Titanfall 2. It's just universally underrated. Everybody knows this. And I played it, and I was like, holy fuck, no, seriously, that game is amazing and underrated. So I want to confirm these things. I'm going to put Mad Max on that list now and see if it does live up to being a damn fine game that's underappreciated. So I want to check it out and see if that is the case. Up next, we got, hold on. Oh yeah, we're going back to the PS2. This game has been on my list for so fucking long. I would say since I was still living at home, I feel like I've had this game and I've been trying to get to it, but it's a trilogy, and it's the final game in the trilogy, and I'm thinking now I'll just skip through whatever I got. I'm just going to play the game, and that game is Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. Oh yeah. So I've now played the first Ratchet & Clank game twice, trying to start at the beginning of the trilogy and work my way to it, and I get exhausted. The first Ratchet & Clank game just isn't good anymore. It doesn't hold up. It wasn't very fun. Frustrating, and that's fine. It's the first game in the Ratchet and Clank series on like from 2002. So yeah, that game doesn't have to age as gracefully. I was just really surprised because I did a versus Jack and Daxter 1 versus Ratchet and Clank 1, and it was no contest. Like, Jack 1 still holds up and is a fantastic game today, but not so much the first Ratchet and Clank, and I still haven't gotten to the third game in the PS2 trilogy, which is arguably the best one, and, you know, they got the groundwork made, and I want to see what the pinnacle of the PS2 Ratchet and Clank games are. I just haven't been able to get there yet, so I feel like this year I'm just going to skip to it. I'm going to pass on going commando or whatever. I've gotten into it like twice now, and I just haven't been able to get through it. So I want to get to the third game, and yeah, I want to finally finish off that game, which, you know, seems like a fan favorite in the franchise. This long-ass franchise of Ratchet and Clank games. It's the outlier, the one that I still haven't even tried. I haven't even started up that game yet. So, and that hurts. That one hurts me, so I want to get to Up Your Arsenal at some point. All right, up next, I believe this is a indie game. And another, I guess, resolution I would like for this year as well is to get some more indie games down. Get some more indie games on my belt or under my belt, doesn't matter. Under my belt. Fuck it. I want to play some more freaking indie games. That's what I want to do. I downloaded a good group of them on Black Friday. They're all on my Switch, so I'd like to get all those in this year as well. I don't have them on this list, but one game that is always piqued my interest, and it still does, obviously. That game is Tunic. I have not played Tunic yet. It looks so freaking cool. It just looks like a game that's going to challenge me, and I gotta be in the mood for that. I've heard that it is a hard game. It's not a hand-holding game. It's a very opposite of that, and I really like that. I like a game that will respect the intelligence of the player. They don't have to paste everything on a wall or slap bright yellow paint on everything so you can fucking, here, idiot, it's over here. And yes, I really want to check out Tunic. It just seems so charming and cool, and it gives me that like old school Legend of Zelda vibe. Like, I played the Link to the Past for the first time. It's giving me those vibes, like just classic adventure, mystery, and puzzles and stuff like that. It just does seem like a game that like you're gonna be looking shit up sometime, like, what the fuck do I do? And I just got to be in the mood for that one. But yeah, man, I think about Tunic all the time, just like how unique it looks, and yeah, I want to fucking play that game and see what the hell's going on. So it's on the list. Up next, we got the God of War PSP games. So I played Ragnarok last year. It was a big deal. If you haven't heard about that game yet, make sure you go back and watch listen or watch my XC's award show, where I gave out my favorite games of the year and all the best of. It was a very fun episode. Make sure you check that one out. But playing through God of War Ragnarok sparked my love again for the old God of War games. So I played through Ascension. Basically, I just wanted to play through the God of War games I haven't played through yet. And Ascension is on that list. Bam, knocked that one out. Good time. And now I have the PSP games. I have owned the God of War PSP collection on PS3 forever. It's been on my shelf for so freaking long. It's just, I was so burnt out with God of War. Back in the day, I did 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back, and it just exhausted me. I was like, I'm so done with the hack and slash, button mashing gameplay. I'm done. And I haven't played them since. And yeah, I haven't gone back to play the PSP ones, and I would like to, especially because they're only like 4 hours or something. They're not very long. And yeah, I want to get the story of Kratos. And yeah, I missed out on the PSP completely. I only had one for like 2 weeks. Buddy let me borrow it. He's like, yeah, use it as much as you like. And I ended up giving it back to him because I'm like, it's just not for me, homie. I don't like it. And yeah, so got to play those God of War PSP games. I've had it forever. I even hooked up the PS3 to encourage myself to play them this year. So yeah, the PS3 is ready to go, and all I got to do is get into those games. But I will admit, after playing Ascension, I was already like, all right, I'm already like, I'm feeling a little bit full. I'm already kind of like, a little bit on the God of War hack and slashing. So I'm going to hold off a little bit there, but I do want to get to them this year for sure. Don't know if I'll get them both in, but I definitely want to play one of them. I think it was Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. I believe that's what they're called. So yeah, I want to get those down. All right, we got a big one here. A big PlayStation exclusive game I've not gotten to yet, and that is Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. Oh yeah, baby. I actually have this one downloaded. It's on the PlayStation. And yeah, it's just kind of the mixed feelings of the game that kind of is holding me back from getting there. Hearing that it's basically just a package delivery simulator game where you're just fucking delivering packages or whatever the fuck. But it's also Kojima, and there's some wild-ass story in there, and you're fucking Norman Reedus. And yeah, dude, I gotta play it. I have to play it. It's a Kojima game, and it's not Metal Gear Solid. So I'm very curious to see like what he's doing now that he doesn't have Metal Gear Solid, and what other new concepts he's playing with. I'm very excited to get in there. It's just hearing about the gameplay unexcites me, but hey, I'm going to go in with tempered expectations, and I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm just hoping the story is exciting, and I can get into it. I'm really hoping I can get into it. I have the director's cut or whatever, PS5 version, which seems to have better reviews than the original version on PS4, so yeah, I want to get into Death Stranding this year. It's just one of those big games, right? It's like a 30, 40-hour game, and yeah, it's going to require a lot of my time. So, got to be in the mood for it, but it's been downloaded for quite some time, and I know that's one of the big ones I want to take down this year. I've got to get ready for Death Stranding 2 and all that great stuff. And it's Kojima. I got to play all that shit, man. I love that guy, so I got to give him his love. And I just didn't want to do it too soon after playing Metal Gear Solid 5. Just that was a big beefy game, and yeah, so Death Stranding, I will get to you. Up next, we have a game that I bought very long time ago on PS4. It was like $5. I think I saw it in like a bargain bin, and I was a little bit just like, oh, disrespect on this game. These are great games. And it's Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So Deus Ex, I played, what is it called? Human Revolution, I think it's called, on 360. It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was just a little bit too hard for me, honestly, at the time. I was getting into I played Metal Gear Solid at the time, and this one is like, yeah, dude, I really like the augments or whatever. You're like kind of half android. You get all these really cool powers, and it's a kind of a play your own style type of stealth game. Like, you want to play stealth, But, you could be an aggressive, stealthy guy. You could be very, very, very sneaky. I found it to be rather difficult. Like, I remember playing it and just being like, died again. All right, let's try going this way. But it was really fun. I liked, you can like punch through a fucking wall and like grab a guy and break his neck through the wall. I was just like, oh, that's badass, man. And the next game came out, this Mankind Divided or whatever. The reviews were really good for it. It just got shoved underneath, there's just games keep coming out and games keep coming out. You're like, all right, yeah, I'll get to it. And you just I don't hear anything about Deus Ex, man. Like, no one talks about Deus Ex. I really liked Human Revolution, and yeah, man, I got the physical version. It's just, that might be the reason why I forget about it often, is because I own it physical on PS4. And PS4, I really didn't do a lot of physical buying for. It was a very digital era for me, was the PS4. Everything was cheaper digital. And yeah, but I found this game for like $5 in a bargain bin. I was like, yo, I love the 360 game. I'll give this a shot. And yeah, dude, at some point I'll fucking get to it. Whenever my next stealthy itch comes around, that's got to be it. Because now that Metal Gear Solid's off the list, my next stealthy itch should be going to Deus Ex. So I'm hoping that's where I go this year. Okay, up next is a game I really want to get into, because now they're making a movie about it, and it's the John Wick director is actually making this into a movie. It's Sifu. Bro, Sifu, the concept of that game, it sounds so cool. It's like a beat 'em up, and whenever you get defeated, you age. So you're trying to get through this game without fucking dying of old age, and like, yeah, I hear it's pretty difficult. That's basically the only reason why I haven't gotten into it yet. I just hear it's hard, and I got to be in the mood for that. I got to be in the mood for a challenge. But man, I'm seeing Sifu shit all over the place. There was a Sifu episode in that secret level, and it was very cool. You're like, oh my god, the dude is fucking aging and keeps coming back from the dead, and he gets older and older, but he keeps getting better at fucking karate and shit. So like, yeah, seems like a very cool game. It came out, I don't know if we were still in COVID during that time or just coming out of it or something, but it was a slower-ish year. And I just remember Sifu getting a lot of attention, especially from the Kinda Funny guys, and I love them, so yeah, I always take their recommendations. And I will get to Sifu at some point, and yeah, pretty excited to get into it, see how hard it is, and yeah, I gotta see what this concept is of, every time you die, you come back older, and I think that is just so fucking cool. And I can't wait for the movie, man. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a sick movie. All right, up next, we got Sonic the Hedgehog, and there's a zillion Sonic the Hedgehog games. That's kind of why I'm scared to go into... I don't know where the fuck to start. I don't know where to go. I tried playing Sonic the Hedgehog, the original game. I can't do it. I can't play that game. It's just not for me. Can't play it. I haven't played Sonic Adventure. I haven't played any fucking Sonic games. So the one that I have two here on my list, and I still don't know which one of the two I want to play, but I have Sonic Mania and I have Sonic Generations. So both of those seem like they're well liked by the Sonic community. The reviews were good. So, and it seems like those are ones that play on like the old style of Sonic, but also mixing in some new shit. So those seem like pretty good ones to go for in terms of Sonic. There's also Sonic Frontier, which is on the... they just put it on PlayStation. And like, I have some interest in that one as well. The only, like, it's just open world. And it seems like it's just kind of those open world games for the sake of being an open world game. It seems really cool. Like, I would love running around in the open world as Sonic. That seems really cool, but I think I want to try and go more native with Sonic, stick with like a side-scrolling 2D fucking platforming thing, whatever Sonic is supposed to be, and I'll give it a shot. I want to really confirm if I really don't like Sonic games, or I feel like I just don't like Sonic 1. That's the only Sonic game I've played, and I didn't like it. So, yeah, I want to give Sonic another chance this year, and especially watching the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. Yeah, I think it's going to make it a little bit better for me to try and get into Sonic this year. So those are the two that I have eyed up. They're downloaded, and yeah, I just got to get into them and give him a try. But up until, yeah, I have never been a Sonic guy. Not really much of a 2D platformer guy. in general. I'm not big on Mario, but I play them and I like them. And yeah, that could be fun as well to see, hey, maybe I like Sonic more than Mario. Maybe that's what's up. I don't know. We'll have to find out and hopefully get to Sonic some point this year. Up next, we got another Switch game, another one that I gotta get to, and it's more than likely up next after Metroid. And that game is Kirby: The Forgotten Lands. Kirby is kind of like Sonic for me. I'm aware of Kirby, there's a million of his games, and I've played like none of them. I remember watching my uncle play the N64 game, and that game creeped the shit out of me. So I haven't really played Kirby games. I watched the show on Fox back in the day, but yeah, this one in particular, The Forgotten Lands, got a lot of love. And yeah, man, the reviews were great for it. Guy at work is a big Kirby fan, and he was like over the moon about it. He's like, this is my game of the year. And yeah, I was like, all right, well, on that he also recommended 13 Sentinels. So yeah, he's been hitting very well with his recommendations. So yeah, I gotta get to Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, of course. I don't know like a whole lot about the game other than like it seems like it kind of did the like a Mario Odyssey type thing. Like, okay, we're making the world bigger and more explorable, and I'm just really interested to see the Kirby mechanics. Like, what am I turning into? What kind of things am I eating? And yeah, how those mechanics are going to be. Very excited to get into Kirby Forgotten Lands. It's one that's been on my list to get forever. I only finally was able to buy it this year. Got it on sale finally, and yeah, I'm going to get into Kirby this year. The last Kirby game I played was Epic Yarn. Way back on the Wii. I remember renting that with the homie Billy. I'm pretty sure we crushed it in one sitting, and we're like, yeah, it was fine. It was easy, it was charming, very, very cute. And yeah, that's kind of what Kirby games are known for, being rather easy, short, simple games to get through, replayable, maybe fun with a buddy or two, but this one seems more hardcore, a little more you can sink your teeth into. So yeah, I'm excited to get into Kirby. So that should be fun. And oh my goodness, we're at the end of the list. This is the big one. I really want to get into this one. Considering how big of a Metal Gear Solid fan I am, this is kind of like the only big game left that I haven't played in the franchise, and that is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I know Greg Miller goes crazy about this game. It was on the PSP, so I didn't get to play it, but I do own the collection, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker is on that collection on the PS3. So again, I got the PS3 hooked up, and it's ready to go, baby. I just... Actually, well, fuck. Now I just did it again. So now I got another stealth game. So, sorry, Deus Ex. Looks like you're probably getting pushed down again. I will get to you, but Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. The only thing that holds me back, obviously, is that it's a PSP game. So, it's not going to look as good. And I just, I have that thing. Like, oh, it's a PSP game. So, there's going to be less things in the game they gotta take out because it's on PSP. So how good could it really be? But the reviews for Peace Walker were fucking insane. It's just I haven't played it yet, so here we go. I'm gonna play it hopefully this year, and that's my list, everybody. Damn, we flew through that list. That did not take very long at all. I'll throw on. I'm gonna talk about the two indie games that I also have on my Switch that I want to play this year. 1000X Resist. I want to get into that one. That is another kind of funny recommendation. I think it's Barrett Courtney has been going crazy about that game, like for months now. Every time they bring up anything, he's always like 1000X Resist, 1000X Resist. I'm like, all right, I didn't. I'm pretty sure it's one of the games he was like, don't look up anything, just go in there blind and just fucking experience it. So that's what I want to do with 1000X Resist. Looks cool. I can't even say that because all I've seen of it is the picture on my Switch of the girl. So other than that, I don't know fucking anything about the game other than that it's a kind of funny recommendation, and I take their recommendations highly. I think they have not let me down, so I'm going to try out 1000X Resist. Want to get into that one. And the other one I downloaded was Kill Knight. Kill Knight I downloaded because on Metacritic it was super high. Doesn't have a lot of reviews, but it was like well into the 90s. I looked at a picture, looked at some screenshots. It looks kind of like fucking Hades. It looks insane. So I was like, yo, I'll take a shot on that one. Looks like it's really, really fun. And yeah, so Kill Knight and 1000X Resist are two more indie games I would like to get under my belt this year. Want to get some more indie games done this year, and more Switch games. That's kind of my hoping to focus on. Like, obviously, I have a lot of games on PlayStation that I want to get to, and there's a lot of games on Xbox that I want to get to as well. I'll throw out some games that I want to take flyers on, like Stalker 2. That game has my attention. Like, it looks really cool. I know the reviews aren't great for it, but I feel like a lot of those reviews were because of it just wasn't performing very well out of the gate, but apparently they fixed some of that, so I want to give that game a shot, see if it's any good. I feel like there's some other there's a lot of stuff on Game Pass. Like, there's Metal Slug Tactics. I think it's called Tactics. I have that downloaded. I want to give a shot. Like, yeah, man, there's always tons of games, little games coming out on Game Pass, little games coming out on PlayStation Plus or whatever, games that I wouldn't, like, buy, but they come out on the streaming service and I want to give them a shot. Another one, here, I'll throw out, here's some extras. Life is Strange True Colors. That is one that I'm, like, almost ready to start. Like, it's downloaded. I think about it all the time. I actually was going to start it, but then I was like, no, I got to do 13 Sentinels. I was looking for a story-based game, something that I can kind of more or less just sit back and enjoy. And I was like, yo, I hear True Colors, whatever the fuck it's called, Stranger Than Life. I'm so confused. I don't even know what that game's called anymore. But another one, kind of funny, huge recommendation on that one. I know the sequel. I don't remember what the hell it's called. Double Exposure. I know that didn't come out to very good reception, but I don't know. I still want to try. I've tried Life is Strange, like the older ones. They were okay. They didn't quite hit the way I wanted them to. Was hoping for more of a, like, the Quarry type thing, like pick your own adventure. It was a little more interactive than that, but regardless, I want to try Life is Strange. True Colors, I think it's called. That one's on my list as well. What else is downloaded on my PlayStation right now? Bunch of stuff, man. Bunch of stuff. Regardless, that's my list. I don't want to overwhelm myself and make my list too big, and then you get game locked. You know, when you have so much to play, you end up playing nothing, and that's the worst place to be in. Thankfully, I have a great system where I kind of already have, like, while I'm playing a game, I already kind of know what the next game I want to play is. It's all feeling based. Like, I don't list out I don't go like, all right, March, these are the games in March I want to finish. I don't put that kind of pressure on myself. I play whatever I feel like playing. If I feel like a stealth game, I know I have a bunch of stealth games that I can play that I haven't gotten to yet. I have a bunch of games in every genre that I can get to that I'm like, all right, I want to play a first-person shooter. Oh, okay, I can go to Doom. I haven't played the Doom games. I can go there. I want to play a strategy game. You got Gears Tactics. You got so many fucking games. I want to play an indie game. Well, there's hundreds of indie games to play, so every time I feel like playing a particular thing, I know I have a list of games in that genre to pick from. So all I got to do is pick one, get into it, and off you go. I find it's the hardest is just kind of getting into the game, getting through tutorials, yada yada. That's always the toughest part for me in games. But once you get into it, you got the mechanics, you start feeling good, bam, you're off and running. So I like to try and layer the games. Like, once I'm 75% of the way through another game, I try to start the next one so I can. You don't have that gap. The worst thing is when you finish a great game and now you're like, what next? Like, I had it really bad after Persona 5. When I finished that game, that was my life for like 3 months, was just Persona. And then when it was done, I was lost for a hot minute there. I was like, what do I do? Like, that game was ingrained in my whole systems. Like, that was a part of who I was for a while there. And it was like, yeah, it was like a 3 days of like gamer depression where you're just like, I don't know where to go. Like, that was such an amazing experience. Like, everything's going to pale in comparison, but yeah, that's why I try to layer my games where I'm already into something after I finish whatever I finish. But you got to be careful with that sometimes, especially like right now, playing a game like 13 Sentinels, very story-driven and kind of a hard story to follow because you're going from fucking point A to point Z to T to B, shit like that. So right now I'm kind of engaged on 13 Sentinels and 13 Sentinels only, but I have Alan Wake on the background just waiting to go. You got Pac-Man just sitting there, just chilling, and I got Metroid Prime. I'm already primed up, ready to go for that game. So I'm always ready to go for the next game. That's how I'm able to, beat 60 plus games a year. And yeah, so I guess that's a lot, but that's kind of how I do it. That's my system. That's how I just continuously play games nonstop. I always have a game on the go. Guy at work, he asks me every day, well, what you playing now? And I almost every time I feel like I give him something new. Yeah, I'm playing this, but now I'm looking into this one, kind of playing a little bit around with this and that and this. So I'm always playing something regardless. Hit me up with your list of games you want to take down this year in 2025. What's your big fish? What are the big ones you want to take down? It could be games that are coming out this year too. Metaphor ReFantazio is number one on my list of games that I don't own but I want to play, but I'm trying to pull myself back because I'm I'm gonna love that game and I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait. There's no rush. I'm going to try my best to wait for Metaphor ReFantazio Royal Mega Edition, and yeah, that would be amazing if I can wait that long, but probably won't be able to hold out that long, but I want to play that. There's so many games, man. Like I said, I already have another list of backlog games that I don't own yet that I plan on owning at some point in the future and playing, so that's another list for another day. But regardless, let me know how your backlog's doing, how you're doing in 2025, how's the gaming going and all that shit. I'm off to a strong start. I already got some games finished underneath my belt, and we're off strong, baby. I got a lot, I'm feeling really good. I know my direction that I'm going for the next few months in terms of gaming, so I'm ready to go. I just want to go play them, that's all. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to go start tackling this freaking backlog, everybody. So thank you so much for listening. We're here. We're kicking it off in season 4 now of the GamerCast. And thank you everybody so much for listening. You the best. You want to be even more of the best. Make sure you're reviewing the podcast, share it around with a few thousand of your friends and enemies. All that great stuff. I have Twitter. Follow along there if you would like. I upload all of these episodes to YouTube on the Gamer GX Videos YouTube channel. Links are in the description. Go over there, subscribe on YouTube, follow along. Great place. You want to have a question answered on the podcast, drop a comment on YouTube. You got Twitter. There's an email address there as well. My door is open for everybody and anybody. And yeah, man, just hit me up. What's your backlog looking like? What's your 2025 outlook looking like? Are you absolutely swarmed with video games like me? Hey, it's a great problem to have, man. It's much better than what it was when I was a kid, when I only had a handful of games. And yeah, you just replay them over and over and over and over and over again. But, I'll also throw in a couple of games I hope to replay this year as well. God of War 3, I would like to replay that game at some point this year. Uncharted 4, I would really like a replay of that game this year. I don't feel like I played that game properly the first time. I didn't give it the proper love and attention that it deserved. I was more focused on finding treasures and getting trophies and shit like that. So I want to replay that and just focus in on the story and the game, focus in on the game and fuck trophies and fuck all that. So I want to get back to Uncharted 4 some point this year as well, and I would always love to play some XCOM 2 again, but regardless, throw out some of those as well. What are some replays you would like to try and get in under your belt this year as well? I'm not big on replaying games, but I am opening my doors to that more nowadays, because yeah, it's really good to remind yourself why you love those games and just revisit them. It's great to have a nostalgia kick, so I am opening up more to that, to replaying more games more often. So there we go, everybody. That is the first episode of the year. Thank you so much for listening. You the best and all that great stuff. In terms of what else we got going on with the podcast this week, a little bit behind. Admittedly, my wife was in the hospital. She's sick. Everything's okay now. My grandma was in the hospital. She was sick. She's okay now. So a little bit a rough start family-wise to this year, but everyone's okay now. Back on track. Everything's cool. And so we got the WrestleCast. WrestleCast might go through some changes this year with WWE going back to 3-hour programming. I am getting burnt out in terms of reviewing 12 plus hours of wrestling every single week. So I may have to give up on AEW at some point this year. I'm going to try and hold on to it for as long as I can. But I will admit, it is becoming a chore for me to watch AEW wrestling every single week. There's a lot of wrestling, man. And the fact that WWE wants to add in 2 more extra hours every single week, that's tough, man. That's tough on me. And we'll see if I can hold on, man. I'm trying. But the WrestleCast may end up just becoming a WWE weekly recap. I will, no matter what, I will still be reviewing AEW pay-per-views. Absolutely. And I'm not going to give up watching AEW. It's just I might have to stop watching Collision. It's just becoming too much. There's just so much freaking wrestling out there. And Collision is just bordering disrespecting my time. You know, AEW sometimes just isn't the best watch on a weekly basis. AEW almost seems like it'd be good to check in every other week, every third week, because it's awfully samey, and they don't really have storylines that are really worth watching every single week like WWE. So again, just something to keep note of. I'm trying. I'm holding on. I wanted to at least hold on until April for the season finale. Get the whole year under, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on with AEW, but it's getting rough to watch them every week. Regardless, still doing the wrestling recaps and the hockey cast. Hockey cast, we're going to be doing that this week as well. Some shit to talk about, man. We got the Austin Matthews situation. We got the World Juniors to talk about. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's going to be filled with news in the NHL. So we'll be doing that this week as well. And there we go, everybody. Hopefully you're ringing in the new year. Hopefully everyone was good, had some good holidays and everything like that. I did well. I got lots of extra time off to watch all these movies and play these games, so it was cool. There we go, everybody. Happy holidays, happy new year, all that great stuff, and let's have a fun 2025 with the GX Podcast.